What was I going to say? I had a whole thing planned.
Is this thing on?
Welcome to the Essay Voice Podcast, the podcast for students by students. Congratulations on making it through your first week of school. It's already Friday, and I'm sure that went by very quick. In today's podcast, Jared and I will be speaking about tips to help you succeed throughout your time here at SLC. I'm sure the first week was a bit daunting and getting a little bit overwhelmed by all the information, but we have some tips to really help you out.
Perfect. So, as you know, this year is a bit different than others, with the majority of students not actually being on campus and doing alternative learning styles. So today we're going to talk about some tips and tricks from upper year students, so hopefully we can help out some first year students and maybe some returning students.
Awesome.
So for me, my biggest thing is organization. It was definitely a skill I lacked in high school. So a trick I found very helpful through my first year was having a calendar, but not only one for the semester, but I would have 3 calendars running at the same time usually, which was divided by a semester calendar, which gave you a general overview, so you could plan like vacations and stuff around it and know what big things you have going on. And then after that, I had a weekly calendar, so you could see what your week looks like and plan accordingly to that. And then the newest one I just started using second semester was a daily calendar. And I try and do that the night before, since things change on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I would write it out and break it down by hour or 2-hour blocks of what I have to do. And it definitely helped me stay on track with what the assignments I have coming up.
Yeah, I definitely say organization. I was a huge procrastinator in high school, and that was really bad. And I knew I had to change it before I went into college, because obviously it's a fast pace. You have multiple things going on, multiple things due, all with different severities. Like one might be 15% compared to a 30% project. So yeah, I'm with you on that whole like monthly thing. I'm a very visual person, so I definitely love being able to see like, okay, I have 3 days to get this done, and I like seeing that I can still have time to have me time and like do different things, but not stress out about worrying I don't have time, because I have that visual representation of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I also found when I had my weekly calendar, I would see like, oh, I have 3 days empty. So it'd be okay, like party time with friends. But then you look at your semester calendar, and the next week you have 12 assignments due. So having all the different calendars that work well, they work in coercion with each other, and it's easy to get things done, and you never really fall behind.
Yeah, and I mean, like, college can be terrifying with workload, and it can be really overwhelming and stuff, and definitely having that organization, like a weekly calendar, daily calendar, a monthly calendar, like whatever works best for you, even if it's in your phone, to have that notification, because I mean everything's on phones nowadays. That will really help relieve stress.
Yeah, there's one application that I started using this year. It's called Mocha, MOCA, and it's on all iOS devices and Samsung. And it's really good because you have like the different colors and stuff, and can break it down into blocks. Pretty much the same as the iPhone, but it's more visual since I'm a visual person.
Yeah.
So it really makes it easy to figure out what you have to do, and you could set it up so you know which colors are for what class.
Oh, that's nice. I should actually look into that, because that sounds right up my alley.
Very good. Yeah. So another idea I was thinking to help students is you're going to be at home. Make sure you have a regular routine for your assignments that you have to get done. So you don't want to be out late since you have the opportunity of that, or waking up at noon. Keeping a regular routine throughout Monday to Friday will help you keep on track with your assignments, and you'll never fall behind by waking up at 2 p.m. when you had an assignment to submit at noon.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like is if you treat it almost as if it's like a job, because we're paying for this schooling, like we're choosing to do this schooling, and I feel like if you have that responsibility of treating it like a job, it will help. Like, yes, maybe you don't have class till like 10, so maybe wake up at 9, but just have things planned out, and that you have responsibility yourself on it. And I think it also will help with your mental health kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. Because no one likes being stressed or rushed. So when you give yourself a bit of playtime, it'll take that away, and it'll definitely make the school year much more enjoyable. If you don't feel like you're running around after things all the time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Do you have any other ideas on some tricks for the first years?
I definitely think so. Like, I mean, your profs are there to help you, and I definitely think that sometimes for people it's hard to ask for help. Like, I know at the beginning of I'm in third year, but at the beginning in my first year, I was like, I don't want to ask for help. Like, this should be something I should know how to do. But like, it's a new thing. Like, even though yes, I have an interest in what I'm doing, things are still new to me and they're new to everyone else too. So honestly, I know it's easier said than done, but definitely like ask for help. Email your profs. They're always there to help you. They want you to succeed. They're not going to be there to fail you after everything. They're definitely going to help you out and schedule meetings with them, whether it's on campus or virtual, which seems like it's going to be a lot more virtual. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're there to help definitely and to use them as an advantage.
Yeah, so on that note, I would definitely say another great resource is study groups to have.
Hmm.
You'll notice if you're a returning year student, you will know the majority of people in your program,
Yeah.
and making a study group with those people will be very beneficial to you for your success. And it's also helpful having other people around you where you can bounce some ideas off them, see how they're doing. And
Hmm.
if you're in first year, it'll be harder to meet people for sure, but you'll notice during orientation, your teacher will send out a mass email with other emails of students, and there will be group assignments. So throughout the first 2 or 3 weeks, you'll start connecting with other students and make friendships with those students, and you can build a good repertoire with them, and then make some study groups from that for each of your classes. And that really helped me first year, having some friends to rely on when there was a big test coming up, to know that the night before we're going to go and grind out in the study hall for a few hours.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really met my core group of friends through our group projects because in first year we had the teachers make them because no one really knew anybody. I knew one person that was like a year older than me from high school. And having that, and even if you're working on a group project, but then you have other stuff to do, like just whip it out and like start doing it with your friends because they could have different ideas on maybe how you should word something. And it really is an asset to have.
Yeah, especially like no one's perfect in everything. So when you study with 6 or 7 different people, someone's bound to be better than you at something.
Yeah.
And when you have those people around you, everyone will benefit from it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you're all in the same boat. It's all you probably all have the same courses unless maybe it's a general education course, but you're all in the same boat and if you're all confused about something, most likely someone else is too. So definitely reaching out.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, since it's all online this
Mhm.
year, our laptops are going to be our best friend. Laptops
Yes.
are computer. So, what I would like to do would be to create a folder. So, when we make folders for all your classes, it's much easier to set it up. So, when you get an email, you don't have to go and scrounge through your emails. If you put it in a Google Docs folder or an email folder, and then you can make subfolders under that category for like assignments, tests, readings, and papers you have to do. Everything will be You'll be able to access everything with a click of a button, and it'll all be organized and laid out in front of you, and you'll have your entire syllabus, so you'll know what's going on and when it's going on.
Yeah, and definitely once you're a student at SLC, you get the Microsoft Office suite, which includes
Yes.
your email. You can download all of the Word processors and Excel and all of that. But yeah, definitely, it's a great feature to have folders, whether it's on your email or even on your laptop. I know I do that when I start getting a bunch of assignments in, and if I need to resubmit something or something needs to be edited really quickly, I can easily find that thing really quick.
Yes, and a quick notes for the students: the Microsoft suites that the school gives us is an amazing tool,
Oh
and
yes.
I didn't find that out until second semester. And all my friends that would have MacBooks or something and would just use the basic software on the computer,
Mhm.
the programs that the Microsoft Suite has to offer is super beneficial. You'll be able to use it for almost every single thing you have. I remember I had one assignment last year where I had to make a PowerPoint out of it, and I was able to actually go and talk to a Microsoft professional, and they
Mhm.
were able to edit my PowerPoint and made it super good. So
Oh wow,
definitely,
I didn't even know it did that.
I know, me neither. It was a shock.
Yeah, and I mean, because it's linked to your student email, you can easily add teammates and add people on your team as well as friends and other students to be able to collaborate on your things, on your Word documents or your PowerPoints or your Excel sheets and all of that. You can have everyone on there working at the same time. And I'm pretty sure there's actually like a chat box. You can have a physical, real life, live chat going on about how you want things to go, which is awesome, especially with everything being virtual now.
Yeah, especially yeah. So then you don't have to have a separate group chat on your phone going.
Mhm.
Everything's on one screen,
Yeah.
and that's also something I want to talk about. If you're able to work without your phone on or near you, it is much better because I know me. I will work for 20 minutes and get one notification, and then that one notification will turn to like 4 hours of being on my phone. So
Yeah.
a phone is a very good item if you're procrastinating, but if you just put it away, you'll get work done much faster.
Yeah, and everyone wants to say, "No, they're not a distraction, they're not a distraction." They can be. They definitely can be. Or at least if you have it next to you, put it on silent so you don't have things constantly dinging off and Twitter notifications and Snapchats and all of that going on.
Exactly. Like when I'm working and I get a notification on my phone, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna check it right now. And then for the next 5 minutes, that's all I can think about is like, what? Who is messaging me?
Is it important? Is it
That
like, oh, if it's important, they'll call me, it's fine. But yeah, your mind wanders. You really don't know.
yeah, and keeping on staying focused, I would recommend having a separate work environment if
Mhm.
possible. Not everyone will have a separate office in their house, but just I find being in your bed and studying in your bed, it's like where you watch Netflix at night, it's where you go to bed, so you don't really get the work mentality. So if you
Mhm.
have an office chair or a desk, it's good to sit down there and maybe have a little ritual before you start your assignment, like getting a glass of water, turning off your phone, sitting down. It'll definitely make you get that class mentality. So it's not just like you're doing some bit of homework because that's your entire year.
Yeah, you don't want to be in bed all day, even though that sounds really amazing to do schoolwork in bed. It's nice to have that separate entity because then you know, bed like your bed is for Netflix and sleeping and just relaxing, and you have that mindset of okay, this is my workspace. This is where I got to get work done.
Yeah, because no one really likes bringing work home, which is
No.
kind of what I would think of like that. Like you're going in your bed and I'm watching Netflix, and all I can think about is the assignment that I haven't finished that I need to do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially with being at home or at your student residence, or even at a student rental. It's we're all going to be home, a majority of us. So having that separation will definitely help with mindset.
Yeah, and another thing, this one's more commented towards the students that are living in a student rental is it is not a party all the time. However, it'll be a fun year. I'm sure we're going to make the best of it. I know my friends in Kingston already have plans set up,
Hmm.
but if you have an 8:30 lecture on Wednesday, it's not the best idea to go out drinking on a Tuesday night, but I will not parent you, but in my opinion, it's good to still have the weekday and weekend stuff and have a big separation between those two because
Yeah,
it's
and yeah, definitely having that. And on the topic of partying and stuff, people aren't going to stop you from doing it, but just be safe, especially right now with things going on. We all have our own due diligence to help stop the spread and stuff. So if you're going to, just be smart about it.
yes, I actually had a comment that I was going to bring up next is
Oh yeah.
staying safe because if you get sick, it's really hard to complete assignment if you're on bed rest in the
Hmm.
hospital. So I actually had two friends in first year that got quite sick, not from corona, something else, but
Yeah.
they actually had to go home and they ended up dropping out for the year because they were
Oh
so
no.
far behind in schoolwork. So just doing your part and washing your hands and following the provincial and guidelines that the school sets out for you will definitely help keep you safe.
Yeah, definitely. Even if you can kind of go through if you have a cold and stuff, just take care of your body. Even if it's mental health or if you're getting stressed out, like email your profs, like set time for you time because that's what really matters in the end is how your mental health and physical health well is. But yeah, definitely take care of yourself, but of course school is also very important.
And on that topic, it's most people will be at home or in their student residence going out and getting a bit of physical activity will definitely be beneficial.
Yeah.
I remember in high school they always said you work better after your fitness class, and for me, I always found that was true. So go out maybe in the morning or something, do a little bit of a walk. Our student pass gets us access to the YMCA anywhere in Canada.
Hmm.
So you can always find these things that the school give us and use them to their full potential.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it will benefit you. If it doesn't help you in school, you'll get in better shape. You'll do more push-ups. It's a win-win.
Yeah, and working out and stuff, even if it's just a walk, you don't have to go lift heavy weights and sprint. You can literally just walk for 30 minutes, and it also helps with your physical and mental health.
Exactly. And if you have a friend to do it with, it's even better because then you can have a conversation and it's quite enjoyable.
Yeah, you don't get bored and start looking
Yeah,
at nature, which you totally can do. Looking at nature is wonderful, but sometimes it
yeah.
gets a bit boring.
I know. Just we're out on the boat
Yeah,
right
look
now.
at you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the house is quite busy, so I would
Yeah,
decide to go out on the boat.
fair enough.
Yeah. So another thing that I would say is to do something beneficial every day towards school.
Hmm.
Because sometimes you'll find where you don't have assignments due for a while, you don't have any tests coming up, but maybe catch up on a few papers that you haven't read. Maybe you have to read chapter 7 next week. Well, start it this week, and then next week when you're in class, you will be able to answer all the questions on the Zoom call, since most of us won't be in class. But
Yeah.
just doing that every day or reading something about what you're studying and anything related to your school, it will always help you. There'll never be a reason where reading will make you worse.
Yeah, definitely. And even it could be something that's extremely interesting and you want to email it to your prof being like, "Hey, can I talk about this?" Or if it's a project, like, "Hey, I remember that I read this one thing and that I can go back to it for a certain research project or something." Like like you said, it'll always benefit you in the end.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's another thing is don't I remember in high school I would throw out all my notes from the years before, but if
Yeah.
you're returning students, your notes are so beneficial. Those slideshows that the teachers have sent you,
Hmm.
they are not just for that course, they are a life lesson if that is what you're going into. And having those are great resources. And your old textbooks, if you decided not to sell them, they usually can be applied to previous and future courses. So if you can use those for other courses, even if it's like I have a sociology book,
Hmm.
but when I had my psychology class the next semester, I could use the same book for that and take some of the theories and apply it in that class. And it was something we didn't learn in that class, but I was able to take knowledge from another source and apply it somewhere else, which is definitely a skill to have.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, I still have my notes from first year because we still talk about the stuff that we did in first year. Because first year is just kind of like an overview of whatever you're going to be doing, and then you kind of get more in depth in it once you go up in the years. And
Yeah.
it's nice to have just to refresh your brain if you forget what a certain term means. And I mean, as far as textbooks go, I still have all of mine because I was like, this will definitely help me in the future, especially if it's something I might struggle with. Like I have, what is it? I have a Photoshop textbook, and even though we didn't use it much, there's like exercises in it that if I'm ever bored and I want to touch upon my skills, I can do. And sometimes it's just nice to have as a reference, even
Yeah, that's
after
it.
school.
Yeah, just having other things that will benefit you. Like right now, I had nothing to do during this, so I made a LinkedIn account. I think
Yeah,
I found you on there too.
yeah, you did.
And then I decided they have like LinkedIn courses to like help with your writing or different stuff. So right now I'm doing one in actually advertising and marketing, which is right
Oh
up your alley.
wow, stepping into
So
my territory.
yeah, it's a 26-hour course. I was like, oh, this should be fun. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're
so
looking
yeah,
forward
even
to that.
if you I'm pretty sure if you get a LinkedIn account, it's free to sign up.
Mhm.
You get LinkedIn Learning, which is free. You can literally just sit there and learn something that you love. Like I think I did a photography course over this summer because, like you, unfortunately, both my job things fell through. So I was
Mhm.
like, I'm just gonna touch up on this kind of thing, and I learned lots. And it's something that's fun. It doesn't have to be something that you feel as though that you're sitting there and you're forced to sit there and you're forced to learn. It could be something that you're extremely interested in too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing I found beneficial in high school, in college actually, is
Hmm.
all the courses I took were except for one. They all interested me like
Yeah.
as much as I could. I loved waking up and going to classes, loved learning and reading, which I know most students won't find that, but I enjoyed the college portion of my education.
Hmm.
Whereas high school, I was not excited to wake up for my 8 a.m. geography class. It was not for me, and that's why when you come to college, it's not just okay, it's going to school. It's learning what you love and hopefully what you're going to go into when you're done and when you graduate.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really different than high school too, because I came to college right out of high school.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's some things didn't interest me. Like I'm not particularly fine of English. Like I didn't
Mhm.
like having to be forced to read, um, and all of that kind of stuff. But I loved math, and it really was touch and go. And when you get higher up in grades, you kind of can choose things that interest you more, but you don't have the whole program that you're there for be dedicated to what you're interested in for.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and like especially I don't know how other people's high school worked, but like my friends had they could choose so many of their classes in grade 12 and I was like I can only choose one. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, but I think that's because I was in the French stream.
Oh,
So
maybe.
I had one class I could choose and I was like I did not like this at all. But in but in college it's perfect. Like I go to classes, I enjoy it.
Hmm.
Oh, another thing, write down all your due dates. It will
Yes.
you don't want to forget about that. And I found not only writing down the date that you have to submit the assignment or write the test, but put a week or two a notification in your phone or your calendar, whatever you decide to use, and then you won't be reminded of it the next day when you get an alert saying it's due in 1 hour.
Yeah, or a text message from your friend being like, "Hey, have you finished this?"
Oh
No, I
yeah,
haven't.
what's that?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah, no, that's definitely, yeah, good to have, because then it prepares you, and it's kind of always in your brain if you do it that way. And then trying to stop procrastination, which I know is hard. Definitely
Yeah.
know that that's hard.
Yeah, and another thing I think that'd be good for students, most of us will be doing Zoom classes or Microsoft Teams,
Hmm.
whatever our professors think is best for them. And doing that, make sure you're dedicated and listening and taking notes as if it was an actual class. Because you can't, if you opening it and it says your attendance and you're watching 13 Reasons Why or the 100, you will not catch anything the teacher says. And
No.
most of what they say is important to what will be coming up, and just listening it you might grab that one sentence or two sentences that will remind you of something, so when you have a test and you're like, oh, at least I got that.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely like I feel some profs, like a lot of them will be using slides most likely, whether it's Google Slides or PowerPoint. But sometimes they don't put everything that they're saying on the slide. So even if you're like, oh, I'll just watch Netflix and stuff, I can just download the slides after. You might
Yeah,
miss out on key information. So it's definitely important to both look but also listen and be an active
yeah,
listener.
and another thing I think that's good is that's actually better than being classes like we're doing right now. We're recording on a Zoom class,
Yes.
and usually your teachers, I know at the end of last semester my teachers recorded all their classes so you could watch
Hmm.
it. If your teacher doesn't give you that option, again, if you're a student, I strongly recommend you ask the teacher if you're allowed to record, since you'll have other kids' attendance and maybe some of them don't want to be recorded.
Yes,
But
very
you have
nice.
the option of doing that or even doing an audio recording, and you can hear what the teacher has to say, and you can always go back and reflect on that.
Yeah, try and just cover all your bases, write down
Mhm.
some things, maybe like you said, ask and record. Maybe
Yeah.
even they're going to record it. So yeah, definitely have all your bases covered, and don't really expect that things will be there for you, because a lot of the time you have to be the bigger person and be responsible to ask for those things.
Yeah, yeah. You always have to be the one to put the first foot in the door, and that's
Yeah.
something I learned in college is teachers will not run after you if you've missed an assignment or something, or they're not going to tell you when something's due. They will tell you once, maybe twice if you're lucky, but
Mhm.
after that, you're on your own, guy.
Yeah, and if you have that lucky one that might remind you like a week or two before, kind of doing a review. But yeah, definitely just you have to be the one to be responsible for this, because this is your education. They're already educated, they're the ones teaching you. So
Yeah,
definitely you have to be responsible for your own education.
yeah. But I think this year is going to be, well, it's unprecedented. I have no clue what to expect, especially moving into a residence as an RA. It's going to be a weird adjustment from last year where
Yeah.
you can't no shaking hands. It's definitely going to be a big change, but I know my friends that are living in Kingston are all ecstatic to see people come back, and
Hmm.
everyone that even people that are just staying at home, they're really looking forward to the beginning of the year and seeing how it's going to be delivered and everything like that.
Yeah, and definitely being able to see friends and stuff, whether it's socially distanced or via Microsoft Teams or Zoom, just having that friendly face, or if you're going into first year, just having a new set of people. Maybe it's not your sister and your family and your parents always around you talking to you. It'll be kind of like a breath of fresh air, and take it like that too.
Yeah. So I'm super ecstatic, and I think it's going to be a great time for students to go and learn, and especially if you were one of the fortunate ones to be able to go to campus this year,
Hmm.
definitely take it in. You are very privileged,
Yeah.
so it should be quite a fun year, and I'm really excited to meet some of the residents. We're going to start getting list of names soon, and it's going to be nice to put the face to people's names.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, the school year it's gonna be different, but everyone, your profs, the school itself, the SA, we're all definitely going to be trying to make it the best opportunity and best time for you, even if it is a bit different than normal classes in and on campus.
Yeah, that's it. I know right now, even being online, if you have your SLC app on your
Hmm.
phone, there's trivia and stuff almost weekly that you can do on it, and often you can go and win some gift cards if you're lucky enough. So that's
Yeah,
definitely something to check out. You can get that in the Apple App Store as well.
I know I'm always bad at it, but I always try. I
Oh
can
yeah,
only
me too.
try.
I go and I wonder how people. I'm like, oh, I did so good, and then there's people with like 10 times my score. I
Yeah.
was like,
How did you know that one question? That's not even, yeah.
yeah, no, some of these questions, I was like, oh. Maybe if I pay attention to that geography class in high school I was talking about.
Maybe you would have won
Yeah,
an Amazon gift card by now.
exactly. Yeah, well, I definitely think it's going to be a fun year. And
Yeah.
what's one more thing I had? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, separating your friends and your colleagues. So when you're not when you're with your study group, it's good to differentiate that you're studying with them as a classmate as opposed to friends. Still get along as friends, but it's not the party when you're trying to get some studying done. And then when you guys decide to end studying, it's good to separate that so you can have time with your friends, like, and you're not conflicting and like on making TikToks while you're trying to write for your final.
Yeah, definitely try and stay on task. And it's nice to kind of have someone who maybe is a bit more tough on that, to kind of be like, hey guys, we're not really doing what we're supposed to be doing right now. Like, let's work for 30 minutes and then we can have like a break to chat about things. And
Yeah,
definitely separating that time.
that's another thing I think that's important is breaking sitting down for 6 hours to do
Yeah.
schoolwork. So if you break it up and do maybe 30 minutes and then take a 5 minute break, get a glass of water, stand up, move your legs. I know I get super jittery if I sit down for super long.
Yeah.
So standing up and even doing something small and then sitting back down, it'll give you a bit of a boost of energy to go and finish what you have to get done.
Definitely. Yeah. It'll be good. It'll stop you from fidgeting as much, or even get a fidget toy if you're someone who's like that. Like, I know I have a slinky that I'll play with, like a mini slinky that
Yeah,
I just kind of whip out and play with,
yeah.
because
I usually end up rolling a pencil on my fingers for all the time I'm studying.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, find what works best for you. That's a big thing too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think quite a bit of stuff to think about and to help them in
Yeah.
the first semester. Hopefully, second semester we'll all be back on campus, giving each other nice handshakes. But we will see what is to come.
Yes, lots of tips to take and write down or use, all depending on who you are and stuff. And make sure to follow the SA Voice podcast, Instagram and or Facebook, where we'll post updates and things and giveaways and all sorts of things that are going to be coming up soon.